I think this is the most asked question about home education. The second one would probably be something about exams, but it's a very, very common concern. How do home educated kids socialise if all kids are actually in school? And the answer is kind of obvious, which is that home educators during the week, during Monday to Friday, are socialising with other home educated kids during those school hours. A lot of them also have friends who are schooled. So my best mate, her kids go to school. I've got other friends whose kids go to school, and we just arrange play dates like after school when they're free. Home educated kids go to meetups, groups, clubs, classes. These are throughout the week, and it depends what's in your area. But my children go to, for example, a drop-off group twice a week for home educated children. That's 4 hours a time. One of them is, I think there's up to 15 children, 15 to 18 sometimes. Another one is around like 8 to 10 kids. They also go to a group on the weekend, which is it's like a drama club, and it's for all kids, like as in school kids, home educated kids, whoever. Most of the kids there go to school. And that was the same for when they did like gymnastics or tennis or aerial, whatever that thing where you roll around in silks. They've tried those classes and they've done them, and they just mix with school kids. I think a really important question to ask yourself is, do you think the socialisation, and people often say to me like, why do you talk about school when you talk about home education? Like, stop hating on school, don't criticise school, just talk about home ed. It's impossible to talk about home education without talking about it in the context of a society where most children go to school, and you are literally choosing between home education or school. Those are your two options, and that is basically it. And so I think, going back to what I was going to say, a really important question to ask yourself is, do you think the socialisation that children get in school in general is a high quality? Because I do not at all. I think that obviously children can make nice friendships in school. Obviously some people make lasting friendships in school. My best mate has a lot of her friends from her college, so like sixth form college. I have one friend from my high school. I also have a friend from primary school, but also I'm trying to think, my brother has one friend from his high school, none from primary. I know a lot of people who don't have any friends from their school days because they made their good friends when they left school. And this is like a completely individual experience. But what I would say is that the socialisation in school is absolutely characterised by a few negative things that I don't want for my children. For example, peer pressure. The peer pressure is absolutely rife. And I don't want my kids dealing with that at an age where they're not equipped to deal with it. I think that children in general are growing up far too fast, and another thing I don't want them exposed to is loads of kids who have phones, unfiltered access to the internet, and parents who either don't care about that or who care but don't have the knowledge to understand the dangers of unfettered access to the internet when you're 8. I don't want them sitting in a classroom or sitting in a corridor or sitting in a toilet or a field or wherever, a playground, looking at that stuff, or on the bus on the way home. I just don't want that. That is not high quality socialisation. Another thing is the toxic competition that is created when you put children together and make them all compete for the same thing despite having massively individual differences. That is a toxic hierarchy, and it means that children have to put other kids down in order to get ahead because they're all competing for the same thing. I don't want my children thinking that. In the home ed group they go to, when someone does something, the children are very complimentary of each other. I'm not saying this doesn't happen in school, of course I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's a notable difference, that they are very aware that there is space for everyone to succeed and that they don't have to put anyone down in order to get ahead. Another thing is, like, I don't know about you, but in school we were told you're not here to socialise, you're here to learn. You're always told to stop talking. You've got a very narrow window of opportunity at break time and lunchtime to actually socialise. Supervision is not sufficient. I'm sorry, but no one can adequately supervise 30 children. That's ridiculous. If a parent had 30 children, we'd be like, those kids are not being properly cared for and their socialisation is not good. Because how can you bring up a child in a group of 30 other ones and give them the attention and the coaching in life that they actually need? It's not happening, which is why the home life is so important, because parents do need to be doing that stuff still. So ask yourself that, and then have a look in your local home ed groups on Facebook, see like what the social vibe is. It's not something you need to worry about at all. We could go to a different social event, probably 2 in my area every day if we wanted to. So our issue is actually, what do we not do? How do we make sure that we're having downtime and quiet time and all the rest of it? I hope that helps. I have a quick start guide which is free in my bio to a quick start to home education. I also have my de-schooling course, which several people have taken, really enjoyed, and that is more of it's everything I tell my one-on-one clients basically in a session, but in a digestible 6-week course. Cool, have a good day.